Welcome to Podtendo, a Nintendo podcast, where they analyze, reminisce, and replay the glory of old Nintendo games.
古代のファミコン用ソフトグーニーズがよりスリリングになって帰ってきた。グーニーズ2ブラッテリー最後の挑戦。特製ヨーヨーが当たっちゃうよ。グーニーズ2発売中。
Hey guys, welcome to the Podtendo podcast, where we analyze, reminisce, and replay the glory of old Nintendo games. Yes, we are today. Our review, pop culture, let's play something show, retrospective show. I don't know, there's like four things. Maybe I said the four things, maybe I didn't. I am your co-host, Mick, and I'm joined by my co-host,
Tyson.
Cool, great, what's up?
Not too much, just
Nice.
Enjoyed some retro games for a change. We haven't really tackled a NES game what feels like a little while.
I can't, off the top of your head. No, we played all the Mega Man games. I made you play all the Mega Man games last year?
That's true, yeah.
Okay. So, I think that's probably the last time we touched that, unless, I don't know, something else propped up somewhere. Maybe like an old Mario or a Zelda or something. It's been a while, though.
I can't remember off the top of my head, to be honest.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so like Tyson alluded to, we are playing Goonies 2 for the NES today. In terms of kind of a little summer drive-in, summer detour from our regular scheduled programming. So you guys just heard us talk about Final Fantasy IX. We're now taking like a month break before we get to the next installment of that. So we get to settle in and watch a little drive-in movies and play a game based on the movie. That's our premise.
Yes. Yeah, we usually do some summer blockbuster-y stuff.
Sure.
Better than that one year where we were forced to play Top Gun and Jaws and...
What was the other?
What can I think? What was the other one?
What was the other crap? Ghostbusters?
Yeah, Ghostbusters, I think.
Definitely Ghostbusters. All right. Yeah, so this is, I guess, not the first time we've done this. And I feel like one time we had a bunch of drinks and we recorded a show about Ninja Turtles. So we've definitely done NES games that are like movie-based in the summer. It's a theme. The vague themes that run through our show.
Yes. And the random things that we don't really have set series.
Yeah.
But we do random things sometimes twice or three times or four times.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sometime in the future, we should probably rewatch Jurassic Park because it's so good. I know we've already done it, but it's just so good. We should rewatch that. I guess we'll talk about that in 2 weeks when we come back and we talk about the Goonies, the inspiration for this game, the Spielberg / I don't know. I haven't done my research on Goonies yet. So the other guy, Donner, Richard Donner or something. I think he was the director of Goonies. We'll talk about that in 2 weeks. Today, though, we're talking about this game. Cool. Awesome. It's Goonies 2, developed by Konami. It sold less than 1 million copies. How do I know that? Because I went to the top 78 best-selling games, and it didn't make the list. And the lowest ones are 1 million. So, process elimination sold less than that. Release date was November 1987. All right. How long to beat has this game? At 3 hours. And on eBay, you can get a copy, just a card of this game, $18. I was like, that's pretty good.
No, that's a good value, I think. This is a gem in the NES collection.
Yeah.
I don't really know what it has too much to do with Goonies, but it's got that name in it on the title.
It's like the Fratellis are there, and you're named Mikey, and they call you Goonies, and...
Yes. And there's a couple cinematic scenes where we get to see the... what the heck's the lady's name?
Oh, the Fratellis. Ma Fratelli.
Ma. Yeah.
Remember the band that did the Chicago Blackhawks song? They were the Fratellis. I don't know if they're named after these guys, but that's kind of how this works. So maybe
could be.
Right.
I also did learn the name of the town that they're in, and I thought that was hilarious. So,
what town are they in?
Goondocks.
Yeah, the Goondocks. That's why they're called the Goonies.
Yeah, I never knew that until beating this game, and I was like,
"What?
The town of Goondocks?" And I was like, "How have I never known the name of this town that they're in?"
So when you go watch the movies and they're talking about the Goondocks, you'll be like, you pick up like, "Oh, that's where they live." And that makes sense why they're called the Goonies. And that's why some people are like, but I'm not a Goonie because I don't live in like the poor little neighborhood.
Yep.
It's like a status thing. Yeah, cool. All right.
Yeah.
Sweet. Where to play this?
Something new.
There you go. So I'm glad that this game influenced your future watching of this movie. That's fascinating. Versus we did the other way around. You'd be like, this game has nothing to do with the movie. Why are we doing this? So okay, cool, awesome, great. Where to play this game? OG carts, $18, guys. Remember, you need an NES, but still pretty good deal. Or an emulator. I don't think there's any type of release or anyone. Konami's definitely not packaging this with anything. So
no, and it's a licensed game, so good luck. Unless it's like Jurassic Park, which you were just talking about, and getting its a bunch of retro games thrown around in one big old collection.
Oh, you saw that too? Cool. All right.
I did.
If they had the Game Gear one, I would have bought it.
That's the deal breaker. I was like, there's no Game Gear one.
But you have
apparently
two
the
Game
Amiga
Boy
one
ones?
is like the best version of what the SNES and the
okay.
Sega one. I was like, oh, interesting. So
see, all you have to do, Konami, is just put Goonies 1 and 2, stamp it, put it on a little disc, sell it. We'll spend like $50 and be like, it's a good time. It's a good deal.
It is. It is.
But just don't forget the really good Game Gear Jurassic Park game that me and Tyson have fond memories of, or else we'll be like, nah, no thanks.
Yeah, or please give us like all the X-Men Game Gear games like in one big old bundle. I would just be in heaven.
Yeah, Game Master Legacy is calling to us. Hello, hi, yeah, we're coming. We'll come get you. You and the Wolverine, or Wolverine X-Men Origins.
Oh, yes.
It's gonna be one of those kind of shows. All right, so for this game though, before we get going though, guys, we have to look at what the pop cultural landscape looked like way back, November 1987. And we'll travel in our patented Wayback Machine and see what did life look like back then, and do we want to live there? So we look at our favorite show, The Simpsons. It didn't exist, not yet. Okay, I was like, should I pick another game or another show? I was like, nah, we'll just pretend like it doesn't exist. Top TV shows you could see though are Growing Pains, Golden Girls, Cheers, Different World, and Cosby Show. All right.
Oh, that's
yeah, it's not great.
80s TV shows.
But starting this year, if you're like, maybe you're more just like a little kid and you want to be like just a little kid in pajamas eating cereals, being like, man, there's nothing wrong with sugar. I can eat it all day, feel fine. Sugar's great. Woo! Top cartoons are Fireman Sam, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, DuckTales, Teddy Ruxpin, Elf, the animated series. Okay, cool. So those were all cartoons that started this year.
I just have only fever dream memories of Teddy Ruxpin.
Yeah.
It must have always been on TV when I was like sick or whatever. You just like put it on and you're just like in a fevery haze and you're like, what's going on with this show with a talking caterpillar and a guy seeing people in cauldrons and a bear? It's like the 80s was run on drugs apparently. So. Well,
and like somehow he had a cassette player toy and he would talk to you. So yeah, I could definitely see that if you had that toy, that being kind of like maybe a scary moment for you, right? A little bit of a fever, crazy cartoon. Now you got this doll that's like talking to you once in a while. It's like reading the books that you're like having in your hands. You're like, oh my god, magic.
Basically.
Okay, great. And throwing a little Gremlins at this Christmas. Oh boy, you're having the best time of your life. Top movies released this month are Death Wish 4, The Crackdown. Okay. The Running Man. That's not bad. The Jetsons Meet the Flintstones. Teen Wolf 2. 3 Men and a Baby. And Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Okay. Interesting. So this is The Running Man's interesting.
Yeah.
Jetsons Meet the Flintstones isn't great.
No.
But Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is like a Thanksgiving classic. So
one of the only Thanksgiving movies. So cool.
Basically.
All right. And then finally, top video games from November 1987. Well, I guess just 87 in general. We saw Punch-Out!, Contra, Doki Doki Panic, Rad Racer, Mega Man, Castlevania 2, and Double Dragon.
Okay. These are some NES games.
Yeah. So like we're probably not living there because there's just so much better stuff in the future and like.
There's a Super Nintendo, you guys.
Yeah. Which we're past. We're like playing N64 games, guys. No, there's no way I can go back to this. Like that's it. All year I have to look forward to is Castlevania 2. I'm like, ugh.
But you get the first Mega Man, so that's pretty dope. Punch Out's pretty
like,
dope.
the second one is the best one.
Pretty okay.
No, I don't know. I just can't do it.
Double Dragon's pretty not good.
I'm staying in the future.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Okay.
Me too.
All right, sweet. So from there, though, now that we know the pulp cultural landscape looks like, let's look at the development details, which I think might cover this and controls. So 2 sections, boop, boop. Now we're almost talking about the game. It's pretty exciting. Giant wall of text. Here we go. The Goonies 2 is considered an early example of an exploration platform game with open-level design similar to Pitfall 2, Lost Caverns, and Castlevania 2. Okay. The game features 2 modes of play, platform and first person. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, it is kind of like Castlevania 2. Okay. Most of the game is played as the former, as the player works through a non-linear map. The player moves Mikeys to new areas of the map by ladders or doors that act as warp zones. Several different types of zones are found in the game, each with distinct enemies, graphics, and music. When the player exits the platform screen by entering a door, the game shifts to first-person mode, using a command menu similar to Shadowgate's. Released just a few months after Goonies 2. What? Shadowgate stole from Goonies 2? Son of a gun. I knew it. I knew that they were hacks. The player explores the areas by navigating through rooms, searching for items, and interacting with non-player characters. Cool.
Yeah. It's a big old maze, but it's interesting to kind of go diving through it because I don't know many other games that do this first person switch over, and
there is no continuity between these 2 events either. It's like we said, it's not a bad game. It's an okay NES game. It's not a terrible experience. You can kind of guess that we've had a general positive experience playing through this game, right? Maybe a little frustrations here and there, but oh my goodness, these 2 aspects of this game are just completely different from each other. The platforming section, yeah, it holds up. It's not bad. Is it as good as Mario games or Zelda 2? Nah, but it's up there. I don't know if it's worse than Metroid or something like that. So in terms of the control and the handle and the world and kind of the fairness and the the actual challenge, it's fine. It's great. The first person screen modes that you're in a weird dungeon scroller and you almost feel like you need D&D and roll dice and you need to also make maps and have arrows handy to make sure what's going on. Oh boy, it's a completely different game. It just takes you out of the elements, and until you know what's going on, and until I tell you later in this podcast the strategy of getting through it, I was completely lost. I used a map through the whole world, and I was like, okay, but I'm gonna each room I'm gonna figure out what's going on. After 4 rooms, I was done. I was like, I need to just follow this map to a T. I can't think for myself because Goonies 2 is I just don't understand the puzzle that they're throwing at me.
Yeah, I think if this was Christmas gift, open it up, slap it in.
Yeah,
this is a great experience because it's kind of this whole explorable world that is very vague. You can kind of figure it out after a while because a lot of the doors sometimes don't lead anywhere. And they're just there's a little pattern that you can do in every single room to make sure you don't miss anything. There's a few exceptions
until you know the pattern.
Oh, 100%. Or and that's after the internet. People just know the pattern now, and they can just say, "Oh, just do this." But if you're in Christmas, it's this is how are you gonna know all these random obscure things?
Yeah,
Nintendo Power better have a strong guide on this.
Yeah, some hints or tips are just going in the right direction, or you literally need a pen and paper and graph paper and a pencil and just be able to make lots of notes and draw and dedicated to playing this game. You're I'm going to figure this out. This is what I'm doing. This isn't an experience that you get when you're trying to beat this video game for 3 hours on a podcast. I just don't have time to figure this out. Maybe you could, but no.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to why things are laid out the way they are.
Yeah.
It just kind of is what it is.
So that's kind of a brief overview of this game in general. Let's get through the rest of these notes. I'm sure we talk about the exact same thing. I have a little bit of a review section because I don't think this game's very long. So we'll get back into it, right? But just kind of put a pin in that for now, that it's an interesting experience, that's for sure. The items the player finds may be useful in the platforming screen, such as weapons or transceivers, or within the rooms themselves, such as candles, keys, and ladders. The players will find the 6 Goonies and eventually Annie in cells in this mode. Each rescued Goonie increases Mikey's health and all 6 must be rescued before Annie can be freed. Mikey can use 3 primary weapons: the yo-yo short-range weapon, the limited power, the slingshot, and the boomerang. The bombs and Molotov cocktails are 2 secondary weapons that the player can use, and the player can increase Mikey's carrying capacity by finding additional cases of them. Okay, all right. Did you like the variety of weapons? Did you know how to use the sub-weapons up until like the last 10 minutes of the game, and you're like, oh, I can throw grenades? Huh. All right, that makes sense.
Yes. No. The main weapons are kind of crappy.
Yes.
Like, all the weapons suck in this game. And you're like, well, this is fun. Imagine just like playing Castlevania, but your whip is just kind of shitty.
Yeah. Yeah. So like terrible, shitty. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like minus the main weapons being kind of crappy and just like the enemies just depleting health in seconds because there's like no invincibility frames. It just it can be a little bit unforgiving.
Yeah, no, it's a tough game. It is a tough game. The weapons, again, I didn't realize that you could throw the Molotov cocktails to destroy like the statues and like the scary alien demon things that you find in the caves at some point. So I really struggled. It was probably my yo-yo or boomerang primarily through this game. So I mean, I've saved states that helped a lot, but there were some parts I'm like, how the hell are you supposed to do combat in this game? Molotov cocktails would probably have helped a lot, or even just bombs. Yeah, I'm like, I see. I could drop them below me. Yeah, okay, cool. So had I taken the time to play around more at the beginning, learn those things, maybe better times, but it was all right. Player must find and use a diving suit in order to reach underwater areas of the hideout. The item limits Mikey to using a harpoon gun and bombs as his weapon. A variety of items throughout the maze allow Mikey to reach areas of the map, including a ladder and a diving suit, and even glasses, which can reveal hidden doors. What the player has to do in order to obtain certain items is somehow obscure. For example, the candle is obtained when Mikey hits a specific old woman 5 times in a row. An item called a magic locator device can lead Mikey to hidden Goonies, represented by a blue dot on the map. Although Mikey can find and locate up to 6 magic locator devices, when one Goonie is rescued, all collected magic locator devices will vanish. Oh, what? But they may not be recollected if there are remaining Goonies. Oh, okay. So if you get 4 and then you collect the first Goonie, you actually lose them all. So that's good. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it's kind of punishing.
Well, good thing. I mean, you might figure it out after one of your many attempts of trying to play this game as a child, and you're like, great. A weird handicap. I thought it was being sweet, finding these all at once. No. You shouldn't have been greedy. That's what they're teaching you. Don't be greedy children.
Yes. Do take them one at a time. Don't try to just be like, oh, I have OCD and I need to get all to know where they all are so I can go kind of exploring and do this at my own pace. No, don't you do that.
No, that's not how that works. All right, so Mikey loses 1 life whenever his health meter is completely drained or falls off the bottom edge of the screen. When all lives are lost, the game is over and the player receives a password that can be used to resume the play at later time, retaining all items and progress up to that point. What? So there's no penalty of death? Sick. Okay. The game received generally a positive review upon release. Famitsu rated the game 26 out of 40. Computer and Video Games rated the game 81% in 1989. Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, I can see why it'd be fairly well received. Like, there's the few nitpicks I have here and there. It's like about the crappy weapons. Like, this game is oddly really fun and kind of way ahead of its time. I know you were kind of griping about the first-person mode, but I've been on a bit of a point-and-click adventure games,
sure.
Telltale games.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, it was kind of right up my alley recently.
Nice.
So I feel like in the 80s, most games were probably point-and-click adventure games, or like, so maybe that's probably why it'd be a little bit more forgiving to be so involved in the menus, because that's kind of what gameplay was at the time.
Yeah, well, it seems like, I mean, they're like, hey guys, we need our platforming game and we need this exploration game. What else do you have? And somebody was just working on this random beta test of a game and they kind of like smushed it in there, right? Like, it doesn't quite make sense. And there's just like little nitpicks I have with the first person that, like, once I find a hole in the floor, why isn't it always there?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's dumb.
Like, I guess, because even Zelda dungeons do that. Like, you blow up a wall, and until you leave the dungeon and come back, like, it's still there. Like, I would understand. Yeah, I leave to the world map, come back in. But you should be able to, like, I go to the next room, and I come back, and the hole's gone.
Or heaven forbid you hit up instead of down, or down instead of up.
And then,
or whatever,
you back out the wall, and you're like,
okay.
Yeah,
you got to take it out and smash the thing.
So it's like little things like that where I'm just like, yeah, that could have been done a bit cleaner. And I think had those systems, even like show me a little mini map where I'm at in the side. There were side panels. Just say like, you're here. It's a 4-room thing. Or like, mark it as I go. Give me a compass. I don't know.
Yeah. Or just give me like some. Yeah, I just think there's some lots of tips and tricks that they could probably like done to refine this.
Or use a good map online, and you're like, oh, it's kind of fun. I'll do this, and I have to go over there and do that. Okay, cool, neat. And I mean, so I get lost, so it's not like it's a perfect system, but it definitely at least gives you guidance, right? So other than that, we go into the control section, but I kind of the copy and paste I did on and edit quick on development details. I was like, I kind of feel like that covers all the controls, so I guess we'll just move right on to first memories.
Yeah,
The rich and full section, which I'm sure today's first memories are. All right, ready? This is the first time I played this game. Wow, cool, awesome. Tyson, do you have any first memories?
No, first time I ever played this game.
Oh, baby, I can't believe we're coming back to this classic after all this time. Wow, what a rich text that we've just provided everyone based on our nostalgia.
Yeah, aren't you so happy we shared so much of our childhood
memories
with you?
Oh, yeah. No, other than that, I kind of remember hearing about this game. Like, this isn't the first out of the blue I'm picking it up. It was an old episode of Retronauts listening back to the date that was discussing Metroidvania games, and they kept mentioning this game's actually pretty good in terms of like the early, say, like Castlevania, I guess 2, Simon's Quest, right, or Link 2. Goonies 2 is always thrown about as like, yeah, it holds up. You know, get yourself a map, you can beat it. It's kind of fair. It's like not the most it's not cheap. It's not Ghost and Goblins crummy, right? It's a pretty good experience. So it's been in my wheelhouse. Maybe I watched something like the AVGN talk about this, right? But again, it was outside of like some small little retro video game cycles, and I've heard about it. This first time kind of diving into the experience and digging a bit deeper. That's all right. Yourself? You have a weird... Did you keep this game hidden under your bed on that NES that I didn't know we had as children, and you play it all the time?
No. First time I ever played it. Yeah, didn't know what to expect, and then I kind of started playing it, and it got weird, and I was like, sure. I don't know if that has to do with Goonies 2. I feel like we got a Mario's 2 situation on our hand.
Yeah.
Where like this game might be a reskinned, completely different game, because
yeah.
I don't know what the Goonies has to do with mermaids, but sure, why not?
Should we have played the first one? I think Annie the Mermaid's from the first one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't...
But we also fight like ghosts and dragons.
Yeah, the dragons and the suits of armors. It's just some weird stuff. There was bats. There was bats in the movie. It's kind of a thing.
For sure, and there was some Fratellis running around.
Yeah.
Okay. But no, I didn't see no dragons, unless I'm missing a reference or two.
No, I don't remember anyone. I mean, you also didn't probably, when you watch the Goonies, you're probably going to miss the octopus too, but...
You're right, I probably am, unless I go out of my way and watch that
weird deleted scene. Yeah, so who knows, maybe there's more deleted scenes. We don't know what they didn't show us all. From there, though, True. I think we're ready. We're kind of ready. You know, we don't have any credentials come into this experience, so let's get our retrospective on and talk about the story, and then this quick, fun game. I'll tell you, like, this is how you beat this game, guys. It's really simple. Just follow these 6 easy steps. Do this, do that, do this, done. Bada boom, bada bing, bada boom, as the Fratellis say. The story of this game. They're back. Kooky old Ma Fratelli and her slimeball sons have returned to wreak havoc in your neighborhood. And this time, they have kidnapped your Goonie buddies. But your good friend Annie the Mermaid as well. What a bunch of lowlifes, this Fratelli gang. Now it's up to you, the last Goonie left, to save the day. But it won't be easy. You'll have to be quick thinker and a fast tracker to pull off this mission. You have a regular super Goonie to succeed. You'll have to regular... You know what? There's a chance I misspelt this, but also I don't know if the manual's written 100%. So good luck! And good riddance to Ma, her boys, and the scuzzy cohorts awaiting you, your adventure into the Fratelli Zone. Okay.
Yes.
Well.
Yes. There might be some mispasses in this manual. The Fratelli Zone. That's funny. It's like it's a whole like Twilight Zone.
What's called welcome. What was the manual? I thought I wrote down. It was Welcome to Slime Ball City.
Slime Ball.
That's like the city. That's like this. It's like plot or something story, and then there's like a big Welcome to Slime Ball City, and then they're back. Kooky old and I was like, Slime Ball City.
Slime Ball City.
I don't know. It must be like a gangster thing,
right?
I guess.
Okay. Sure. It's a reference to something,
Yeah.
which makes me think, I'm like, this game is just a reskin something.
Yeah.
I swear it.
This manual didn't do much for me. However, though, I have an idea. Maybe an idea for like a YouTube series later. We'll get to it. But we're on Goonies 2, so we should probably talk about Goonies 2. On to the level notes. Oh boy, we ready? Turning on the game, firing it up. Menu, you get to see Ma Fratelli yelling at you, and you get to press start. Well, that's pretty exciting.
Yep.
Okay, all right.
Starts telling you off.
Great. So the first Goonies. So the first area of the map sees you exploring a cabin and a basement. You need to find a hammer, keyring, and a slingshot before attempting to save the first Goonie and make your way to the Red Cave area.
Yeah. Kind of gives you a little feel for it right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
It's you've got some okay speed to it, but you do get some speed shoes and some jump shoes upgrades down the road to make getting around a little bit faster and easier. Since there is no like run button or anything, but pretty tight little platforming entry level section. Don't think that there's anything too I don't think you can miss anything in this.
As long as you don't find door H too quickly and end up in the caves without finding the red skeleton key, you're completely fine. So
I can see that being a problem.
yeah, I think as long as I guess you actually need the hammer. I think that's the only thing. Slingshot, meh, it probably comes back to you later. And the key ring definitely makes the game less grindy if you have enough keys to get through all the doors, because you need a key to save the Goonie. So if you waste it, also never look in a safe, because safes just give you hints. Just look them up online. So, but the second Goonie, though, the Red Cave offers you some new scorpion enemies. In a freezer/ice level, you can save the second Goonie. You should also collect the transceiver, glasses, keyring, boomerang, helmet, visit Konami Man, and beat an old lady to receive the candle.
Oh, that's what the K guy is. Oh, okay. I was wondering what the heck that was.
Yeah, he's super Konami Man. If you visit him, he gives you full health.
Yes, and abuse the heck out of that, because there's really not a lot of other health drops, minus the odd snake that's like, here's a heart.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it definitely make the game more difficult. And I don't know if you per game, if you get a game over, but if you hit him, because that's an option, he will deny you his healing abilities. I did that the first time I was playing this, and I was like, oh, who's this guy? I was
tragic. Yeah,
I was like, Sloth? Is this Sloth? He's kind of because he's Superman. That's what I thought they were going for, but no, he's someone named Konami Man. Apparently he's the Konami mascot. Okay. Probably the weirdest member of Konami that we meet in this game, right?
Sure. I couldn't imagine a weirder person that we meet in this game.
Yeah, all right. Third Goonies, though. From there, we travel over a bridge. We find some secret speed shoes, explore a purple cave, and make our way to a green cave to get some weapons/ammo upgrades, a key ring, raincoat, and diving gear. Our Goonies friend is at the very far end of the green cave.
Yeah, I get some mad Castlevania vibes from this section. I don't know why. But
there's a green cave in one of the games. And you get more monsters. You get that weird demon monster with the alien head jumping at you here. That's incredibly difficult and just basically wrecks you.
You took that as an alien. I took that as an angel, a skeleton angel.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like the Simpsons skeleton angel that they find in that one episode. That's what I was picturing every time I saw it.
See, I thought the wings were coming off his head. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, tough enemy. Angel, alien, we're not sure. It's something. Skeleton angel might make sense. From there, anything that stands out in this area, No, I spent lots of time in the red caves. I feel like the red caves seem a bit more accessible. The purple caves are kind of literally just a pass to the green caves, and outside of maybe like a upgrade later in the game, I don't know if you have to return here. So again, with your map, find the door at the Goonies, make your way there. You can avoid the other doors. I was following a map that kind of showed you every door in sequence. It'd be like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and the guide went through each door, so I went to each door sequentially, thinking I was doing something. I don't think I did anything in lots of those rooms. Yeah, and it probably took me to like maybe the 4th or 5th Goonie before I realized that. So actually, it was definitely the 4th Goonie. So up to this point, I've explored everything. Did it make me better for the experience? Not really.
No. It's, it makes it more probably fulfilling as opposed to just essentially speed running this game.
Yeah. True.
So.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. And from the 4th there, from now we go back to the freezer from earlier in the game to gain access to the underwater section of the map. Here we can rescue a Goonie, and then we take off. We do find a ladder in the same room as our friend. Okay, so this 4th Goonie is important. Grab the ladder, and now you're all set. And yeah, I think once you're underwater, you kind of just go back to the entrance. Don't go all the way across the area to get a key ring, because you're like, I don't need 7 keys. What the heck?
No, you don't.
Yeah.
But you also can meet a little swampy guy.
Gives you a free life.
Monster.
Yeah.
Yep. I always appreciate that. Is this where you get the jumping shoes?
I think maybe. Definitely one of those items I bought and then was like, I definitely didn't need to get that at all. So.
No. There's like one jump in the game that you might need it.
Sure. Okay. Cool. Yeah, for the most part, this part's pretty straightforward, right? I think I had quite a bit of issue. Was it here? Did I make note of that? There was one section here where I was like all heck of lost. I was trying to get to the freezer, and I kept trying to find door C, but door C was like just this access point to like the purple caves again. Oh, I was like super, super lost, and I just was really struggling with this area. Finally figured it out, but I like spent more time than I wanted to at this section of the game. And I was like, sick, awesome, cool. But on to the 5th Goonies. We head back to the house portion of the map, and we can use our map to access the fire cave. Or maybe the ladder to access the fire cave. There are only 2 doors in the lava zone. The first one holds our Goonie friends, and the second one sends us to the log cabin. So come down here, you save your Goonie friend, and if you read through the guide, it says you don't need to do anything else. So you can just return to what they're saying is go to like the exit. But I took that as just leave the lava area. So then I went back to the house and ran around for a bit. And I was like, where am I going? Only to later find out. I was like, oh, I have to go to the weird door at the far end that has the Konami executive in it.
Yes. Which is, again, really weird. This Konami. I think they're just trying to be cute and funny or whatever.
Yeah.
But same time, it's like, I also feel like this might be the programmers being like, these evil executives kidnap kids.
Yeah.
They're the real villains.
I guess. Sure. Is that what they're hinting at? I don't know. He's just a guy in gold, and he's like, I'm the Konami executive. And that's all he does. And you're like, neat. Cool. Great. Super. Now that we're in the log cabin, though, we can get to the 6th Goonies. Now in the log cabin, we can explore an enemy-ridden basement to waste time. Oh, yes, don't go down there. Before heading up to a higher level to save the last Goonie. And if we explore the highest area, we can find a bulletproof vest, which cuts the damage we take in half, essentially extending your life. So that means we have something like 6 Goonies. I think we have like 8 bars of health. You get 16. And you're like, I'm like a god now. This is great.
Yeah, you're pretty overpowered right now. Is this where the ghosts show up?
Yes.
Ugh, they suck. They just deplete huge chunks of your health if they get on top of you.
Oh, yes.
I was not paying attention at one point, and just like chunks of my health disappeared.
That sucks. Yeah, I think it's around here too where I figured out the Molotov cocktails took out the knights as opposed to trying to like hit them with my yo-yo 1,000 times. And I was like, one hit, kill. I wish I have like 15 of these. Okay, I wonder how many enemies are left in the game. 14? Great, awesome, cool. Well, I'm glad I suffered through this, so it's good. It's great. Good times.
Especially since like the enemies actually do drop bombs pretty regularly.
Yeah, no kidding. So yeah, I don't think anything stood out too hard. Again, if you have a map, just follow the map. I mean, playing through the sequence once or twice, you could like make yourself little notes, and it'd probably be a more enjoyable experience the more you played this game, right? Like, oh, go to this door, not that door, right? Like if you had it printed off and you could check it off or something like that, make little notes for yourself, that'd probably be kind of fun, right? You know, you could like share it with others. So an interactive, fun drawn map, good times. Finally, though, Annie. We are now tasked at traveling back across the map to the beginning of the game. You can either choose to walk back through the lava zone or take the back route through the purple cave. Once we have reached this area, we can use the ladder to access the final attic area. And this area is full of old people in that they are complaining about losing their glasses. We find Mama Fratelli, but she can be avoided before making our way through the anticlimactic end where we rescue the mermaid Annie.
I feel like the non-mandatory boss fight or the avoidable boss is just like, but I'm also got shit. It's like, that's an interesting take.
Yeah.
You just go run, grab your friend and be like, let's get out of here.
The platforming is easier. There's not so many pits. There's no moving platforms, right? Like there's no challenge. The combat isn't anything that I can't handle at this point. We'll say without my boomerang and like the Molotov cocktails that I have tons of health. They're not doing that much damage. Mom Fratelli, again, if you don't look for her in the attic, you can just skip her, right? Just run to the next door and kind of take off. Okay, cool, awesome, great. And then you get and see Annie. You're like, hello. A very chesty Annie. I'm pretty sure she's like arms spread, but like her chest is bare, but like nothing's going on. But it's just weird that they didn't put like a bra on her
or anything.
Just anything.
Yeah. No, it's a interesting choice. By these developers, but
it's like they ran out of time. They're like, we can't do anything about that. Let's just move on. Okay.
Yeah, basically. And yeah, I don't know. That's Goonies too. It's a really interesting little gem of a game.
Yeah. Gem's a good way of explaining it. Is it something I'm upset that we went back and I think we wasted our time? No, not at all. I was like, that's actually kind of an enjoyable experience. I will champion Goonies too. If you wanted an old classic game that you could just get into and play, $20, you could beat this. And like, I think you could actually achievably beat this. This isn't like a Ninja Gaiden. You need to dedicate 10 hours to learn all the patterns of the enemies and stuff like that, right? This isn't an impossible game. And I'm curious where it would rank on like a tier list of all these other games that we've played, because I bet you it's higher than I think.
Probably, because it is. It rubs me the right way, because I mean, I think I grew up right around the time where like I could still semi-play some of those like point-and-click adventure games. So there was like those old school first-person adventure games, and this just has like that vibe to me. And I was like, I kind of really like. There's not really a game that does these kind of things, and I think it's interesting enough. Like, yeah, it's essentially menus the gameplay, but I think it's I always remember it sparking my creative juices as a kid. I always like found that stuff so fascinating. So just for that aspect of actually using that gameplay and having that be on a console for once is very, very cool. And to have like solid platforming. Yeah, the weapons kind of suck, but and there's really only one reliable way of getting health, and that's Konami Man. But I kind of love Konami Man. I think he's awesome. So yeah, this game is way better than it has any right to be. It's not like a masterpiece by any stretch of the imagination, but like I think for what it is, it's very good.
Yeah, like that's a great point. I mean, in terms of licensed products, and they usually just put a name on something. Batman, I don't care, throw it away. And you're like, this is like a cart driver. Why is Batman here? No, there's a Batman car. Save Batman. That's it. That's all people were doing back in the day. It was super cheap. We've dove through this before, guys, with any of these products, right? Like, there's so many superhero or just any movie tie-in games. Awful. So the fact they made some type of competent experience that we can sit here and say, yeah, you need a guide. Damn right you need a guide. This game would be darn near impossible and like unfair and evil without you taking the time either to create your own guide or follow one. Right, but that's kind of you need to go into that with a mindset, right? If you go into the mindset being like, I'm going to figure this game out, I'm going to write everything down. This game I'm going to beat it. I want a really strong kind of interactive puzzle, learn all the parts. You're going to have a great time. If you're trying to beat it quickly, pick up a guide. You're like, oh, this game's not terrible. So the fact that it overcomes that licensing whatever curse or just lack of fucks that the designers or the developers kind of usually work on with these games. It's a fine game. It's great. My happy that I'm kind of excited we played it, to be honest with you. I'm like, this was worth our time. This was worth going back to, because at this point, why are we playing NES games?
There's really not a lot of reasons,
right?
Unless we decide to really kind of go pull a gem out of the bin, because I think the NES is a great little console, and it's kind of nice being a retro podcast to kind of go back and like look at these things. So I'm really happy too that we went back and replayed this, and to be honest, I kind of forgot about like that gameplay. It just, brings back good old nostalgia feelings. So I had a really good time with it. So
solid. Yeah, very nice. From there, where are we at? Ending of the game. So Monfortelli tells us she is going to get us Goonies as her and her boys are arrested again. Cool.
Yep.
Right.
Leaving it open for a part 3.
I guess. That's great. Cool. Sweet. From there, though, let's get into a little bit of review of this game. Just if there's anything that we kind of didn't touch on, we want to dive a little bit deeper, because I thought that would be kind of a fast, quick run through of the game. Maybe there were things we didn't think about. So let's just take a second to reflect and go movie style. Oh, I see, because we're doing a movie next time. I see, I'm funny. All right, so what is your favorite part of this game?
To me, I think it's just like that aspect of the first person exploring. Yeah, sure, it's a little clunky, but it tickled me, so I enjoyed it. Made me happy.
Okay.
That's my favorite part for sure. What's your favorite part?
For myself, I think just the fact that they did create a fair experience, right? The action sections are manageable. The platforming is fair. The enemy placement isn't super cheap. There isn't the knockback issues. There isn't all the normal bullshit that we can sit and complain about. And obviously, they're just trying to develop a game to suck quarters out of your pockets, right? This is 1987. Games come out after this that kind of have that mentality. So the fact that they gave us an actual experience you can play, I think it's more fair than, say, the Castlevania games, right? Because some of those times you play those games and they're like, oh, instant kills. Like, what is this going on? It just seems like there's less of that. They're more forgiving. Oh, you here's a password. Just pick up where you left off. Kind of keep going, kid. Dust yourself off. Keep going. It just felt more encouraging. So it was just kind of one of those things where I was like, cool, awesome. And that's really all you're looking for on the NES. You didn't need to reinvent the wheel. Just give me a platformer that when I jump on enemies, it doesn't kill me. Because I'm like, what's going on? Mario jumps on them all the time. Oh no, this guy, I die? That sucks. Maybe you should explain that better, right? So, I don't know. I just kind of like that aspect of it. For yourself, what is the most notable scene or part of this game? It's the thing you're going to remember.
I think it's the Metrovania aspect. Like,
sure.
That's why we're kind of going back and even playing this game, is because, like, hey, there was an old NES game that was kind of doing these things, and it did them relatively well. So to me, it's like that's most notable, is the ambition of the building a replayable, explorable world. So, yeah.
Solid. Yeah, for myself, I would say I remember this game as kind of for its fair action sequence, but I kind of feel like it might be the off-putting room segments that I'm like, oh my gosh, these rooms are so confusing, and you go in and you're always facing forward, but sometimes you're facing backwards, so like you're not really sure how to ever move through the rooms, and like it's going to take you a sec, like you might have to go into a room 3 or 4 times where you're like, oh, I see, and now I'm facing forward, okay, cool. Oh wait, wasn't this room, didn't have a hole in the wall? Oh, it did. Okay, I have to knock it again because I left, it like went away. That part was very, very confusing, and up until I literally looked at my guide that I was following online and saw them, and they like kind of like laid out the rooms in like a little display, I'm like, oh, that's how you get through here. Okay, cool. But up until that point, I was completely lost, right? That was like the majority of the adventure. So I do kind of feel like that's gonna be one of those things where, and that's people's, sometimes their criticisms, these room segments are like, it's just uneven, doesn't make sense, it's not intuitive, and it's not the best point and click adventure by any means, right? It's just kind of fairly repetitive, right? I literally see it in my notes. I'm going to mention it right now, right? So it's just one of those things, and I think that's, I hope that's not where I remember. But when people say, oh, the Goonies 2, it kind of sucks, it's hard, I'm like, yeah, I can see the room segments, the exploring segments. Again, you need a guide, or you need to be dedicated to like, I'm going to figure this out, right? So you need to have one of those two mindsets, or you're going to have bad times. So how about your least favorite part of this game?
Just the weapons. Like the yo-yo sucks, the boomerang goes way too far and takes way too far to come back. The bombs are just kind of like clunky to use. So like they're there, but it's same time I feel like there's nothing reliable. So for me, it's like I never really want to get into a fight. I never really want to fight anything. I'm much more like, can I get around you as painless as possible?
Mm-hmm.
So that and not being able to jump onto ladders is like, ugh. Some of those, like attaching yourself to ladders while you're getting attacked by something, and you're just like, I just need to climb up or I just need to climb down. It's not going because I'm sliding past it. It's like that part.
Okay.
That stuff sucks.
Yeah, for myself, oh, look at that. I'm going to complain about the room segments, guys. Oh, wow, look at that. Least favorite part of the game for myself. Yeah, I didn't. Again, save states might have helped a lot. There would be times where I'd play through large sections of the game without saving and then realize I died. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I played through so many screens. But sometimes I'd also make a save like 12 times to get across one room. So, again, playing on emulator, save states, just makes it's quality of life things, helps you a little bit, unless you're looking for a grind of that game. But for myself, the least favorite parts, it's those room segments. To go fists on the back wall, then hammer on the roof, back wall, floor, and then glasses. It's not the most compelling gameplay. But if you do that in every single room, you'll find all the secrets. It's easy. It's super. Just do that, and like that gets you most of it. I did get lost a few times, even following my guide, like I mentioned, trying to get to one of the coolers, and then in the lava cave. Oh, and then in the attic, right? So just wasn't a big fan of those. The game at those points, right? And then I also was following the guide a little bit too thoroughly, and I explored a bunch. So my least favorite parts of the game are, I don't think this is like a one and done experience. If I went back to it, I would have more fun the next time through and be like, oh yeah, I go over here. Oh, hey, can I do that? And it would start challenging my memory, and I would have a better map of the game, right? The more time I spent in this world. So my least favorite part is just some of the repetitive things early on. And I think it's just first time jitters through the game, right? My least favorite segments, if I played this twice more in the next little while, in the next year, even next 2 years, I'd probably have a better time each subsequent experience. Because like, oh yeah, over here, oh we go over here, and oh yeah, I remember to do that and do this, right? So you kind of remember the sequence and the patterns. But for right now, I don't want to learn those just yet. So
that's fair. Yeah, I mean, it's I think you definitely, like, the more time you spend with it, and since this is the first time we've ever seen these games or kind of played these games, it definitely has some learning curve to it. But I definitely feel you, especially because I guess we get on the kind of the criticism.
Yeah, for sure. What's your criticism of the game?
Everything looks the same. Yeah, it's got that really bad NES graphics syndrome where, like, it's not everything's a syndrome, Tyson. It's got really bad NES graphics where it's just it's everything looks the same, just different colors, so it's kind of hard to know what distinguishes one part of a wooden room versus another part of a wooden room, or one part of a cave versus another part of a cave. And it's like, and it'd be helpful if this map wasn't completely useless, but the map's completely useless.
Hey,
so
that's mine. I think, I agree too. In terms of the game generally looks the same. The game does generally look the same. Yeah, they color. There's a red and an orange cave, but you know what colors look very similar, guys? Oh boy, red and orange. Oh yeah, and the enemies are exactly the same. I remember the red scorpions versus the orange scorpions. Come on. Yeah, the wooded sections too. There was multiple times I'm like, I'm in the wooden room, and I'm looking at my map, and I'm like, oh, that's a different wooden area. I see there's tile in the back, and it's not red tile, it's white tile. Ah, I see. But this game did convey as much. Information. However, some of these were done in such an what's that? What am I trying to say there? An archaic, that's it, way that it doesn't accomplish anything, right? So they're trying to show you the map. Here you are on the map. Here's a little dot. Good luck figuring out where you're at, right? Like, because you have to go to the pause menu and you have to look, and okay, I moved over 2 screens. Oh, now I went to a warp zone. I'm across the screen. Oh, I'm on the back side of the map as well. It's very, very, very confusing. The conveyance here it's nothing, right? Like, they're showing all this information, but you're like, I have to learn how to read this map. It's like learning a foreign language where you never use it, right? If you aren't told the room strategy or see a visual picture of what's going on in the rooms, you're completely lost. Like, the number of times I was in a room that was like 4 and I would just like go around in a circle, And I'm like, I don't know where I'm at. I'm not building a mental map. I'm not figuring this out. There's screen. There's other resources. We could have done something about this, right? Now that I know the strategy, sure, I could probably go in any room and go like fist and then hammer 3 times and glasses. And like, oh, hey, I solved everything. Cool. Awesome. Like, I know I can move on. I didn't miss something, right? But until you get to that point, it just seems like super, super frustrating. And then one of the other points is, like, why don't secrets remain after you open them in the game map, right? So I'm in a room. I open up the hole so I can climb down with my ladder, but I accidentally press back, or I go to the side, and I come back, and now the hole's gone. Well, why doesn't it stay there? I could see a reset, like, once you go onto the world map or something, but coming back into the room and it being exactly the same, even if you just step to the side or step to the back, it can just really throw off kind of that visual spatialness that you would need to play this game, right? And it just makes it difficult. So that's like my criticism in that case, is just those parts, right?
Oh, definitely. And to have that, like, you unlock something, or you, like, just about to go down the ladder, then in the room that you had to open, like, the floor in.
Sure.
You go back, like, you press back instead of up or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, all of a sudden now, congratulations, you now need to do the menu jargon all over again. So it's, like, just clunky.
Yeah. No, it is, I don't know, it could be better. Or even you go into a room and you go down into a ladder, and now you're in a room and, like, there's no hole in the roof above to indicate that's where you came from.
Yeah.
It's very confusing. You're like, wait, where am I? I'm in the second floor. I'm below this. And you're like, oh, in the outside map, I remember on the backside, I was up on a screen and I had to go down and over 2 to get the Goonies. Oh, because I went down, I could probably come out of this room, go over 2 screens, and there's the... No, that's not how this game works. That's how they wanted this game to work, but that's not how this game works, right? So...
No,
yeah.
not at all.
Okay, how about a final praise of this game? So I think we had a generally positive experience. So what's a final praise you have for Goonies 2?
I think they tried to do... I say this all the time, but they tried to do something really ambitious, and I think they did a great job of it.
Yeah.
To have a super adventurous game that you can kind of... Sure, the mechanics are a little clunky or whatever, but I feel like if you got this as a Christmas gift as a kid in 1987, you would not be disappointed. So this holds up kind of then, and I think it's worth going back and replaying. It's a shame that it's a licensed game, so it's not going to be picked up. But what do? Go buy a physical copy on eBay for like $18 and emulate this game and have some fun with it. So.
Sweet. Yeah, that's great advice. For myself, final praise with a guide, or like what I kind of mentioned earlier, if you just wanted to brute force or like figure out this game and like take the time and solve it and sit down with a pen and paper, you could definitely figure this out and map everything, but you have to dedicate yourself to that. Or again, with a guide, this game is actually a pretty fun, fair challenge, right? You can kind of know where to go. You can make little notes. You can kind of like X off rooms that you don't have to go back to. Perhaps if this game came out with like an actual map of some sort, some type of interactive guide, something you could fill out, something like One-Eyed Willie's map or some type of the Bloom that could kind of help you solve puzzles, that'd be kind of cool. That's a pretty cool overall experience of this game. I'm like, oh, just like in the movie when they're using the map and like the tokens and trying to solve little puzzles. Oh, I get it. So if your headcanon is that like the website guide or like the YouTuber's Let's Play is the map, it's a pretty decent experience, right? Overall, I enjoyed my time playing this game. It was a Saturday afternoon. I sat down at like lunchtime, maybe before lunchtime. I was like, I'm just gonna sit and beat this game. I gave myself like 4 hours. Was able to wrap it. It was great. It was perfect. I had I had a blast playing it, right? And I did want to echo that as I'm doing this. It was a fun little afternoon. One of the better, kind of reignited like me wanting to play video games, right? I was pretty sick this last week before we did this, and I spent a lot of time getting into a bunch of old games. I'm like, oh, I should go back and play this game and play that. And it was definitely coming from the fun that I had with this Goonies 2 experience, right? Pulling up the map, pulling up the guide, not having to be discouraged that I don't know everything, right? Sometimes you can get discouraged when you go to play games because they're like, oh, I don't know everything, and I don't want to look up the guide. I don't know which badges are the best, so I'm not going to play Paper Mario 1,000 Year Door because I don't want to look that up. Look it up. It's okay. The resources are super easy to find nowadays, right? You could basically get anything explained to you. So don't have that as a barrier to getting to this kind of experience. So again, had a good time playing this, and yeah, it was good.
It was.
Yeah.
It was a very good time. And if you haven't checked it out, and you've listened to us at this point, and you're like 53 minutes in, and you're like, I'm still on the fence if I should play this game. It's like, but I don't understand how you could, because It's a fun time.
Yeah.
Go check it out. It's like a quick little afternoon. Grab a coffee, play a little bit of it. If you don't need to beat it, you don't really get too much from beating it. But unless you really want to rescue Annie, our favorite character from the Goonies franchise. So I think this is a great little pick up and play game. This could be easily one of those games that they work into a compilation where it's like you have to work to the end of a room or try to solve the puzzle or whatever to progress, and then it would switch to a different game. Kind of the way they used to do that in those random,
No, it's
thinking WarioWare mix-ups or whatever.
Oh, gotcha. Sure. Yeah. No, it's good. And current thoughts, kind of ending this experience. I was just going to kind of keep echoing what you were saying, and that's what my current thoughts are going to say, guys. I liked my time playing this game. I understand that the current criticisms of this game, and think that for the most part they're kind of accurate. It is uneven. The room sections are kind of hard. The platforming is a big maze. Yeah, it's kind of the game though, right? However, if you find a good guide, have a few hours to kill, playing a pretty fair NES game, I would recommend this game. It would be fine for a co-op Saturday night, play with a friend, see if you can figure it out, right? Grab a graph paper, see how far can we get in Goonies 2? Can we solve everything, right? By the time you get to the ladder, you guys are probably definitely bought in. That's only a couple hours. I think it'd be kind of all right. So, yeah, it's a recommend. It's pretty good.
Definitely recommend. Pick it up if you haven't tried it already.
Sweet. Okay, how about what would you change?
Why don't you go first? I had a thought on this, and then it slipped my mind. So
yeah, I would. If I
to
only one
rethink.
thing, I'd create a map just for the room segments, so Zelda style. So you kind of come in and it fills as you explore the rooms, just to give you kind of a general understanding. Like, oh, I'm in a 4x4 room, and then there's like a little offshoot into that area. Okay, cool. And then you'd be like, I need to check 5 rooms, as opposed to sometimes I was in rooms and I was like, I could be in 1,000 rooms, I could be in 2 rooms. Oh, it's just there's a repeating room segment at one point. That's really unfortunate that it's there, right? So that I would just do that. Maybe a little tiny just side map. Just make that section a little less forgiving or more forgiving.
So I would do what they did in Star Tropics, and I would include like a secret map in the game case.
Oh, yeah.
So instead of having to like put that stuff and like reveal it, you just like take it out and overlay it onto the screen of what the actual map is, and it could show you where all the, just a quick little reference of like where all the shit is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think that'd make this game a heck of a lot of fun.
Sure. Some type of interactive map. Nice. Cool. Yeah, I was thinking that
Right.
kind of like, Star Tropics, you need something. Now, it's great for the one-time use. It's great for the collector's market. Because you get this game, you don't play it, oh boy, it's worth more than $18. Let me tell you.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Wait, no, okay, hold on. Do you think the Star Tropics paper is worth anything?
I'm going to say I think a sealed copy of Star Tropics goes for more money than a sealed copy of like this game, Goonies 2.
Let's see.
Just because it has that special little piece of paper in it.
Star Tropics game, rough box and manual, $37. Okay. Zoda's Revenge.
So not much.
Manuals, a little rough, 140, but you get Star Tropics 1 and Star Tropics 2 Zoda's Revenge. Factory sealed, $200. Okay, never mind.
Okay.
All right, so like if it did exist in that manner, it wouldn't be worth that much. So, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Neat. Cool.
Oh my goodness. But apparently if you had a sealed copy of Goonies 2, it's apparently 9,000 US.
Sick. All right.
Which to me is, I think that person might be reaching.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, okay. So sometimes those prices... So it wouldn't have added a lot of retail value, so we didn't change anything. That's too bad. Let's see. What would we change? Okay, one thing. Are you buying it? Funny enough, there are not enough fans of this game to have fan theories. Yeah, okay. So maybe something like, who is Annie the Mermaid? Wait, is that a theory? No, it's a question. Annie the Mermaid, I guess, is like maybe from the pirate ship?
she saves the Goonies
From the pirate
from
ship?
the octopus in the extended deleted scenes.
I thought they just put the CD that was playing the Cyndi Lauper's Goonie song on and it dances away.
That's even dumber. I like your idea more.
No, I think that's what actually happens in that scene.
Oh goodness.
Yeah. Well, at least that's what they wanted to
That's,
happen. I don't know if they got around to it, but like that's what the script was calling for.
Yikes.
Yeah, okay.
Yikes. I like my
So Annie,
maybe Annie, it's Annie's Walkman.
oh
She
sure,
found the Walkman, she was going to return it.
it's waterproof. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, cool.
And she was just really into Cyndi Lauper because Cyndi Lauper has the power to save the universe.
It's true. There you go. Remember she was at WrestleMania? I don't know if she fought at WrestleMania, but she probably helped out Hulk Hogan. At least that's what my memory of that thing I've never watched was. That's it. That's a game.
Somebody got hit with a chair. Somebody got hit with a
There we
chair.
go. So we're done talking about Goonies 2. Did we miss anything? No.
No, I
Okay.
mean, I think if you're decent at this game, you could probably beat the game by the whole length of this podcast at this point.
Oh,
so.
yeah, and like based on just research of Goonies 2 online on YouTube, we now probably have talked longer about Goonies 2 than all the other videos combined. I think there was like Angry Video Game Nerd had a half hour. There was another guy had like a 15-minute retrospective, and he covered everything. It was great. It was tight, and I was like, man, I don't know how I'm doing an hour-long podcast on this tomorrow. No. And then like the other two videos. So by the time we were like finished here, yeah, 105, we might have the longest. We own like 50% of the YouTube content on Goonies 2, outside of Let's Plays and walkthroughs.
Yeah. You know, I'm sure there's some. Oh yeah, I was gonna say minus the Let's Plays and walkthroughs. I'm like, I'm sure there's some guy that was like, I played this game for 10 hours because I kept getting lost.
Yeah, no, other than those guys, like I think we're up there. So between this and Mystical Ninja, we're making ourselves a real nice little niche down here at the bottom of gaming YouTube.
Hey, you know what? Somebody's got to uncover these gems.
Yeah,
Or these tarnished diamonds.
Somebody's got to like hang out in the dregs. You can't all hang up on the surface. Sometimes we got to go to the hollow nest of our Metroidvanias and just chill with all the bugs. Creepy little bugs are crawling around. Cultural significance, though, as we wrap up this show. In this section, we talk about game design, lore inspirations, turning points, interesting stories, talk how this game relates, give other examples, and tie it all back together in the end. I don't think we do any of that. I think I have two lists. We look at them, and then we kind of move on with our life. So, most confusing video game plots. So I was like, who's Annie? What's going on in this game? Why is there Goonies 2? Why are the Fratellis after these children? Like, why can't the cops get a handle on them? How'd they escape the second time? The brother was like, oh, look, he hung himself again. And the note says, what do you think? I'm stupid enough to hang myself, you schmuck? And he escapes again? You think that's what happened twice? No, there's no. Maybe that's how they escape. I don't know. But I'm confused. So other confusing video game stories. Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty. Remember that game? Remember how confusing it was?
Yeah. It's not straightforward.
No. And it's hard to talk about. Like, I've gone back and listened to that podcast on it a couple times. And, like, you just kind of get frustrated by the gameplay at some point. You're like, it kind of sucks. I'm like, yeah, but, like, I remember being fun. And you're like, yeah, but it sucks. I'm like, well, it does kind of suck. But the story's cool. And you're like, but it doesn't make sense. And I'm like, yeah. I just...
It's Metal Gear Solid, baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, we just got it. That's what it is.
Yeah, like, I'm glad we got to it. And the scenes were monumental. When I go back and listen, like, the first one, it seems like we're having this big epic adventure. And like, whoa, and this one we're like, this happens, but like, does it happen? I don't know. It's Metal Gear Solid. That's what happens. Okay, cool. You know, it's a game that's not.
Do you remember the first game? I remember the first game.
Great.
Like,
awesome. All right. What about Kingdom Hearts? I don't know what happens in Kingdom Hearts. I know I've played. Is there 3 Kingdom Hearts games, right?
To my understanding.
Okay,
I
but like
actually bought
mainstream.
Yes.
Okay.
There's 3 mainline one. There's Kingdom Hearts, Kingdom Hearts 2, and Kingdom Hearts 3.
Like, I played all those games. I couldn't tell you the story. I know sometimes he like goes and visits like Alice in Wonderland.
Because you didn't play 63 days and a third of nights that once was tomorrow's.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
The Kingdom Hearts franchise is silly. I bought the all-in-one franchise, like compendium, be like, it can't be that bad. And it's like, flip it over. It's like, God, there's like 9 games.
Yeah.
And like some of them are like random handheld games, and some of them are random like offshooty games that are apparently like, no, this card battler is in key to understanding the fundamentals of what Kingdom Hearts is. And you're like, I feel like if that's the case, you have a bad franchise.
Yeah. All right. It's pretty historically, like, again, even people are like, I love Kingdom Hearts. Explain to me the story. Like, just
explain to me it.
What is Kingdom
Hearts?
Sometimes it's a door, but sometimes it's a moon. Okay, cool, awesome.
But
how about
is it inside you or the heart. Like
Yeah.
it's stupid.
Okay, how about BioShock Infinite? So that was on the list I was looking at, and I was like, was that game confusing? I don't think it was. It was just a bunch of like infinite timelines or something. But that's like kind of confusing, so
Yeah, more or less.
Okay.
It's not that bad.
that's what I thought. I was like, I kind of remember it being kind of straightforward. And she develops the power to be the portal girl.
Yes.
Something like that. Okay. Yeah, I didn't think it was that bad. I was like, maybe we'll talk about it and be like, oh no, it's really confusing. We should play it at some point. Yeah, at some point, but not now. Okay. How about The Legend of Zelda? And I was like, does that count? And I was like, well, if you believe that it's the same Link in the same world, 100%. Try and make that story make sense. Nah, it doesn't make sense. A timeline where the hero dies? No, that's not a thing. Marvel movies aren't like, oh, we have 14,175,000,000,000 different movies we can make now because of Endgame, because only one is a good one. So we're just going to make all these shit movies come off this like other timeline where you failed. No, it's not happen. You don't get to do that, Legend of Zelda.
No, it could. I guess it could be confusing, but if you just take it as it's standalone stories,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah, as soon as you try to make it into a timeline, that it doesn't make a lick of sense, and you're just trying to no. At one point, a Link's Awakening happened in Zelda 2 as he travels across the ocean. For like a year, that was like the official timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's weird.
All right. And then finally, Five Nights at Freddy's. So I think Matt Pat built a bit of a gaming empire, a franchise. I think he just sold off Game Theory. I don't know if he owns it anymore. Probably based on just the fact of him trying to explain the story of Five Nights at Freddy's. So point and click adventure, kind of scary. There's some like weird Easter eggs that vaguely tell a story. And you can listen to Matt Pat for probably like 7 hours on YouTube. Just try and get his way. This is going on and that's going on. And there's theories and people are arguing and confusing. Yeah.
Yeah. I am not a fan of that franchise. Okay. And I think it's quite overhyped and overblown and ridiculous that like, oh no, the story's so good because there's this Easter eggs that you need to do these things on the night 7 of this one thing, and then you can get the brief glimpse of a golden Freddy, and that golden Freddy ties in with the purple man. It's like, stop.
Yeah.
Just stop.
Yeah.
This is there's a time and place for this, and you're doing it wrong. Anyways.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit less confusing than Kingdom Hearts, but more confusing than Zelda. So it's somewhere in there. Okay, cool. From there, though, the other, so classic games that shouldn't be played without a guide. Okay. All right. So Goonies 2, does it have the most confusing plot? No, but I don't know. I was just looking at some lists, obviously talk about some video games. And I was like, I like all these games. So confusing storylines, you'll stay. Classic games that should be played without a guide, though. Do we know anything about any of these? So Tactic Ogre, the series. So getting the game's best characters. Don't know Tactic Ogre. I imagine probably need a guide.
I know of it.
Yeah. All right. How about Zelda 2? Okay. So trying to play this game without a map. Yeah, I could see that being kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah, that's a no bueno. That sounds very difficult.
Yeah, you know what? Even going back, I just recently played Zelda 2 for some reason. I just needed the game, I guess, to play on like downtime, and I was like, Zelda 2, that's a fun little quick wrap. I was able to kind of go through and beat it, and was like, fun. Wait, did I beat it? Maybe I didn't beat it. Maybe I just got to the end part and then like saved. Huh. Okay. Anyways, yeah, very difficult. I've played it enough and watched enough Let's Plays back in the day that it's like I kind of remember it, but without a map on my phone, some of those areas are very, very difficult. And if Tyson, remember, I think one of his times playing through this, he said, this game is hell. Did you ever beat Zelda 2?
I think I did, only after some encouragement and cheating.
Okay, cool.
So.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. How about Suikoden?
Yeah, Dark Nuts suck in that game.
Yeah. How about Suikoden 2? Or Suikoden. So Suikoden apparently was noted as it's hard to get all 108 characters without a guide because some of them are very, very, very specific. And it's actually almost darn near impossible because of the number of things you need to do to get the good ending in Suikoden 2. So if you're a Suikoden fan and you're playing those bad boys without a map, Goonies might be for you. Because, like, guys, it's 108 characters is too many.
It really is.
Yeah.
Especially if, like, there's, like, specific things you need to do or go and they're vague. And, no, I could see how that being extremely difficult to get all 108.
Yeah. Persona.
Even Pokemon without 100, like even Pokemon's like guide.
Oh yeah, Pokemon without a guide. Good luck. Try and get the whole Pokedex. No thanks. Because some Pokemon you're like, oh, make sure you have the good Ultra Rod, but not the good rod, or the good rod, not the Ultra Rod, and you have to stand in this one spot and fish at 7:00 at night. Good luck.
Yep.
Oh,
try to just figure out all the
2% Dratini that comes out, and you're like, oh yeah, cool, okay.
Yeah, or make sure that you save up and you buy the Polygon from the Silphco, because that's the only way to get it in the game.
Yeah, you need lots of money. Unless you're playing red, and then it's only like 2,500 instead of the 9,999 in blue. Cool, awesome. All right, how about Persona 3? You know anything about Persona 3?
No.
Yeah, me neither. Okay. If you don't know anything, I don't know anything. Why are we talking about it? How about Star Ocean 2? So the last bosses are deceptively hard.
Yeah, that's a game that it will sneak up on you and kick your butt.
Okay.
But it's good times.
Yeah.
So maybe worth it.
Randomly, Star Ocean 2 fell into our laps. We were in Calgary for some reason. So we were driving home. It was like 4 hours. It was a Sunday, probably a Sunday. We're like, hey, Mom, look at this game, Star Ocean 2. We should play it. Big, epic action RPG. I know I played it a bunch as a child. I got lost somewhere. I didn't get very far. Probably like 4 hours into the game or something like that. And then I feel like they released it or something. And do I own it? Maybe I own it.
They did release a re-release on
the Switch. So maybe I own it.
And plays PS5. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Neat. So it's kind of those weird it's in our wheelhouse. Maybe someday we'll look at it.
We got a few more RPGs to go before we can get there. Unfortunately. Yeah. I would love to jump on it because I literally have it sitting on my shelf. But
okay. All right. How about Final Fantasy 12? So getting the game's best weapons, you need a checklist. So to find everything, it's a bunch of item searching, and you need a big checklist to be able to check everything off, because it's not just one or two things. It's a series of stuff. So you ever played Final Fantasy 12?
Just trying to remember which one that is.
It has like the bunny people.
I only ever played like the first 2 hours of the game, and then I was like, I'll come back to this.
Yeah, cool. And then finally, Final Fantasy 7. So you basically need a guide to figure out how the materia works for the end game to have a chance of fighting the last two weapons. Or, super easy, just listen to the Podtendo Final Fantasy VII retrospective. Easy.
It's true. We do cover most of the strategies, I think.
Yeah, I would recommend that one. Maybe you don't listen to Final Fantasy VIII. I'm not going to go back and listen to it. You guys, I wouldn't tell anyone to listen to it, so it's...
Yeah, no, I would just skip that one and just be done with it. Yeah. Like any other sane person who doesn't like Final Fantasy VIII, just skip it, pretend it doesn't exist, and be like, man, those two Final Fantasy games for PlayStation were sick.
But Final Fantasy 7
and 9.
Our retrospective, I'm like, yeah, it's all right. That one holds up. Cool, great. Sweet. So with that,
and we do have 9 on the go, so you never know.
Yeah, okay.
You never know.
All right, yeah.
Tune in.
Yeah, maybe 9 keeps going. So there you go. So if you got listening last time, you just heard it. So now you're here listening to this one. Good times. That wraps up our game. Can we stop talking about Goonies 2 after an hour and 12 minutes?
Yep, sounds good to me.
Yeah, all right. Imagine we keep going. But actually, I think we have stuff to do. So we should probably get on to do that. So cool. So with that, we will see you guys back in 2 weeks. We're looking at Goonies movie. So if you wanted to follow along and watch that, it's probably a good time. It's in the summer. It's a fun little action adventure. A bunch of kids running around. Oh, baby. It's good times.
Yep. It's good times.
Did we miss anything? Because I'm probably never talking about Goonies 2 ever again.
No, I think we're okay. We spent an hour and 12 minutes.
Yeah, we now own the record for talking.
Go play Goonies 2.
Yeah, we now have the most talk time on Goonies 2 on YouTube. Again, outside of Let's Plays. Yeah. And there you go. Boom. Pew pew. We did it. Go Podtendo.
Yes. Okay. So have fun, everybody.
Enjoy your summer. Bye.
Bye.